coach is a wonderful tool for your development. What's more important, however, is your own awareness of your game. Being aware of what is causing your errors is critical in being able to make changes on the fly, and therefore becoming a better tournament player. Today we are going to be talking specifically about your dinks, but many of the same concepts can be applied to drives, serves, and returns. We'll also be using the forehand dink for most examples, but the principles will apply to the backhand as well. Are your dinks floating a little too high? The primary cause of this is when the ball is allowed to get behind you. The original wrist position that would keep the ball in an effective height above the net has been compromised. As the ball starts traveling behind your body, you need to create more loft with the paddle, which can very easily have the effect of lifting the ball higher than intended. Another reason some players hit their dinks too high is their grip. If you're using the continental grip or even further towards eastern backhand, then your forehand dink will have the potential to be hit too high. This grip requires a lot of wrist flexibility to adjust the paddle angle, or a slicing technique that effectively keeps the ball low. If your dinks are so low that net errors are a regular occurrence for you, then it's certainly time to make a change. The number one reason most people dink into the net is their body height. I know. I've said it all before. Bend your knees. Get low. You never have to get low if you're always low. And so on and so forth. Seriously though, let's look at what happens when I stand tall with a regular grip, something between continental and eastern forehand. My paddle has little to no chance to get under the contact so as to lift it up on the ball. The result is the paddle comes in at a very low trajectory, and as such, so does the ball. Another reason for hitting the ball too low, much like in the first diagnosis, is your grip. If your forehand grip is towards eastern or beyond, then the paddle face will have a very tough time of being open enough to lift the ball well. Using these grips effectively requires either incredibly long arms or having a very low body height, both of which will give the paddle ample opportunity to brush up from underneath. If your dinks can be both too high and too low, then you have the dreaded two-way miss. Unfortunately, the culprit for this is a combination of things. Firstly, you are more than likely standing too tall during your stroke, and as such, your wrist needs to quickly hinge in order to open the paddle face enough to get the ball over the net. The problem with this is timing. It takes world-class timing or blind luck to be able to flip your wrist and get the appropriate ball flight consistently. If you contact the ball a fraction early, then it'll come out high. And if you contact the ball a fraction late, it will be in the net. The only way to pull this off would be to quickly set your wrist position and lock it throughout the stroke. Not pretty, is it? If you're a right-handed player and your dinks are coming off too far left, then chances are you're getting cramped around the ball. The ball needs a reasonable amount of distance from your body for it to be comfortably hit without needing any extra room at the point of contact. If you don't have enough space, then your body will attempt to find it as you approach the contact, essentially pulling the body left to give you room to play the shot. This body movement obviously has the effect of pulling the ball left also. In similar fashion as the previous mistake, hitting the ball too far right is often a result of having too much lateral distance. In this case, in an effort to find balance at contact, you'll need to quickly close in the ball, and that bodyweight momentum adds force to the paddle in that direction, sending the ball there also. If you suffer from the other two-way miss, where the ball can go too far left or right, then you firstly need to ask yourself if the previous two scenarios describe you best. If the answer to that is no, then there's a good chance you have a rotational dink technique. As opposed to linear technique that keeps the paddle moving largely in straight lines towards the target, a rotational technique only finds a square-to-target paddle face position at a very precise moment. This obviously takes fantastic timing, and an early contact will pull the ball left, while a late contact will send it right. Today we looked at some of the most popular mistakes in the world of dinking. When trying to decide what's causing your errors, please be sure to record yourself. Remember, the camera doesn't lie. There are of course other possible reasons why you're missing your dinks, So if you'd like me to help diagnose your game, then shoot me an email at info@coachmepickleball.com. Until then, stay out of the kitchen, folks. What's more important, however, is your own awareness of your stuff. The chief culprit of this is unfortunately a combination of things. Did I say unfortunately twice? The other factor that is often at play, then you firstly need to ask yourself if the previous two situations, what is wrong with that? Situations. If you suffer from the other two-way miss, where the ball can go too far left or right, then something else is happening.